landfill site breaks down. Where would the waste go? My name is Stephen Ante, and this is today's big story. Now, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development denies claims by the Environmental Service Providers Association that it owes waste management contractors an amount of 16 million Ghana cedis. The ESPA has given government up to May 19 to pay up, or it will shut down the Accra compost site. So what happens if this amount is not paid? Let's get some clarification now. Ama Entry is Executive Director of ESP, Environmental Services Providers Association. Good evening, ma'am, and thanks for joining us on today's big story.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
Now, it looks like we have a crisis on our hand. You have issued an ultimatum to government, which they say they don't owe you, but you have issued an ultimatum nonetheless. What exactly are the challenges your service providers are facing, and what is your area of operation? Let's start with that.
Okay. ESPA is an umbrella body of different service providers. And as earlier on indicated, with this particular release that ESPA did, we were asking the government to pay landfill operators.
Okay. And
with the landfill operators, as earlier on indicated, I have different membership. The Accra Compost is part of ESPA, and the landfill operators are also part of ESPA.
Right.
So the request was for government to pay the landfill operators, and I lumped all together.
Okay. All right.
And with the phone, the work is the contract has to do with CMA. Is the Accra Compost Plant. The contract has to do directly with the Ministry of Local Government.
Right.
So it's unfortunate I'm getting this feedback from the ministry. And I just want to clarify, which of the ministers responded to the statement?
Well, the local government minister responded to that and said that they do not owe you. So I'm curious.
Which of them? Akwesi upon Ofosu.
That's right.
It's rather unfortunate because not too long ago, I heard the same minister saying they have received invoices and they are working on getting to pay the Accra compost plant.
Right. So let me tease out some clarity a little bit. So you are telling us that the debt that is owed to the landfill site operators, correct?
Yes. And I indicated 3 different categories.
Okay.
Yes.
So the 3 categories, the Accra compost site is 1, and the Kpone engineered landfill site is also 1.
Yes.
And then which one is the third?
The Kumasi. The OT landfill.
Right. So, I mean, these landfill operators, what really do they want? Apart from the fact that they want their money, I'm also told that they have challenges of traveling long distances to deposit the waste at waste management sites. Currently, are there any dump sites in Accra apart from the compost site? I mean, I don't know the difference. We do know that the Oblogo site, which used to be at Weja, was decommissioned. The Achimota one was decommissioned. Where do the operators dump their rubbish in Accra?
Okay. I'll use this medium to educate the public once again. Ideally, every assembly is supposed to have a final disposal site. And AMA as an assembly should have a disposal site. All the other assemblies are supposed to provide final disposal sites for the contractors. Unfortunately, it has not been so. And when AMA had crisis, AMA asked the contractors to dump at the Kpone site.
Right.
So ideally, it's not right for contractors to be dumping, especially AMA contractors, to travel all the way to Kpone to go and dump.
That comes at a cost to you, right?
Yes.
As extreme cost to you.
That one too is done by another aspect of my members. You see, I told you I have different categories of service providers.
Right.
And those are the solid waste contractors. And my earlier release had to do with landfill operators.
Right, so Madam Entry, I mean, all of these explanations you're giving us, I need to find out whether you took steps to seek redress for this before issuing out the ultimatum that if by May 19 you don't get the money paid, you may have to shut the Accra compost down.
Yes. We took redress as a secretariat. January, I sent a letter to the minister. In April, the executive committee had a meeting with the minister. We have followed up, and the only reason why it has to come into the public domain is because, as I indicated earlier on, I have different categories of membership.
Right.
And if the dump site should be shut down, it's going to affect another sector of my members.
Right.
And what is the benefit of joining an association?
Right.
It's for the association to protect your interests. So I use my position to intervene and talk to the landfill operators that the minister has even assured us that they are in the process of getting the payment. But because the operators are also highly indebted to their suppliers now and do not even have the resources to continue with the operations of the management, they wrote to the secretariat and wanted the secretariat to let the other members know that the site would be closed, and it will not order war for us as a nation. That is why we have to come out to ask government to intervene.
Right. Madam Entry, I'll have you hold briefly and I'll come back to the studio to speak to our reporter, Michaela Anderson, Johnny's reporter, who was at the engineered landfill side. Michaela, it's great to have you. I haven't been in the studio with you before. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I mean, I see this as a big problem. If we hear what Madam Entry is talking about, it does appear that the huge problem we have in Accra is where to dump. I mean, Accra people are going all the way to Tema to dump. This is another discussion altogether. But when you went to the site, what did you see there? I mean, did you feel that it was enough to cater for the rubbish coming in from Tema area and Accra area as the only dump site?
Well, I can say that when I went there today, I saw mountains of garbage.
Heaps.
In fact, mountains of garbage. And I can say that there's so much pressure there because that is the only final disposal site of all solid waste in Accra right now. And you can see there's so much pressure. I spoke to some landfill operators who told me that actually they had to open another portion on the dump site, which they describe as a cell, to facilitate easy dumping of the garbage. So there's so much pressure. So, right now, they tell me if that particular cell gets full, that will be it. They would have to shut down.
That really will be it. That will be it for Accra. And I can't imagine where else our waste will go. So when you went there, what were the managers telling you, apart from, of course, the obvious, which shows that they were under pressure and the place is not large enough to cater for all the waste? What else are they saying?
They talked about the challenges of power outages. They said they have frequent loss of power,
which is a big deal.
Yes, and it is one of their generators had actually broken down and is so ineffective as we speak. So they are unable to sometimes weigh some of the tracks. You know, they have this weighbridge equipment which they use to record data. So when the tracks move in, you'd have to load it on it. They record the data before you are able to dump you dispose of waste. But with the breakdown of the generator, when there is light off, then that is it. They would have to be there, wait for a very long time. Some even say, some of the drivers I spoke with say that sometimes they sleep there overnight.
Unbelievable.
And you can imagine the health implication. I can tell you that when I went there today, the offensive odor can even resurrect a dead person.
Oh dear, that's madness, right? But the challenge really is that this is supposed to be under TMA.
Yes.
And TMA, what are they doing about it? Are they thinking about expanding the facility, or, I mean, if it gets full, that's it, we can all go to hell?
Actually, when I went there today, I saw some TMA officials and then people from Tema Oil Refinery. So I don't know what they discussed, and the manager was not willing to tell me what they discussed.
Right.
So I think we can try them later.
Michaela, we've got Na Deme, who is the Acting Director of Environmental Sanitation and at the Local Government Ministry, on the line now. Good evening, sir, and thanks for joining us on today's Big Story.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Now, we seem to have problems on our hand. I mean, the problem of Accra's waste seems to be staring in our face. I need to understand from the local government ministry's point of view, are there structures which you put in place to deal with the waste management situation in Accra and surrounding localities?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much. I think waste management is one of the core functions of the MMDA, the Metropolitan Municipal and District Assembly. And so the ministry is there having oversight as far as the performance of the assemblies are concerned, and also putting in place the required policy framework and the necessary enabling environment.
Right.
And also monitoring and evaluation.
So oversight, necessary policies, monitoring and evaluation. In all, collectively, are you being proactive? I mean, we're seeing that the Kpone landfill site, which happens to be the only engineered landfill site in Accra, is under stress, really. We're told that it's overworking 5 times more than the capacity it was put in place. If that shuts down, where else will we take our waste to?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you are aware that the Tema landfill, engineered landfill, was constructed through a World Bank facility.
Yes.
And of course, that is the initiative of the ministry. The District Assembly or the Tema Metropolitan Assembly will not have that resources to be able to put up that facility. Indeed, as part of that project, Accra was to have an engineered landfill because they wanted to ensure that all the Metropolitan Assembly, Tamale, Kumasi, Sekendi, Tapadi, Accra, and Tema have engineered landfill. Unfortunately, Accra could not have it because there were problems with the, with the site. If you heard of the Padenya site. And so we're looking for alternative place to do that. And, landfill requires, large tract of land, which is really not easy to get.
Yeah, now, I beg to come in again. I mean, we're looking for landfill sites. I mean, have we not gone past the point where we should begin to employ scientific means of treating this waste? I mean, for how long will we continue to be digging trenches and filling these trenches with rubbish? When they're full, then we fill them up and we say we've decommissioned and we bury the rubbish. Are these effective ways of managing our rubbish, really? Are we doing this properly?
Please, I appreciate your concern and this thing, but I was only telling you what has been going on.
Right.
Yes. So definitely for municipalities like Accra, Tema, and all that, landfill sites are not, the way out because you can't even get the land. Yes. But once we are exploring, the other technology, we need to have something going on. And landfilling is the most sustainable or cost-effective way of dealing with these things.
Right.
Now, let me indicate that, in fact, since I came into this office about maybe 6 to 7 years ago, I have received not less than 500 proposals from across the world, proposing to bring in technology, waste to energy, and other technologies. But there are real problems. I mean, in terms of capital investment, we're still pursuing and trying to find out. We have an environmental sanitation strategy and action plan, and everything has been spelled out as to what needs to be done.
But you do agree that a lot more needs to be done, and it must be done pretty quickly before we land ourselves in an environmental catastrophe, really, and diseases start spreading.
Yeah, we are very aware of that.
Right.
I'm just assuring you that in the next year or two, of course, we will not wait until the thermal landfill is full before we start looking for a place. We're planning, and things are well advanced for us to have at least a place to be using whilst we continue to look for other alternatives technology.
Right.
And that is the situation in which we find ourselves.
Right. Now, we're grateful. But before we let you go, what about the cost to these landfill site operators? We're told from the Association of Service Providers, Environmental Service Providers Association, the government owes some of its members up to about 16 million Ghana cedis. Are you able to talk about this?
Yeah, I really do not understand when they say government owes them. Is it the management of the landfill or the collection, and haulage of the waste that government owes? You see, because even the management of the landfill, the contract for the management is signed between the assembly and the service provider. And for all the service providers who cut waste, from all the municipalities, they enter into an agreement with the assembly. And so the issue is that if the assemblies have real challenges, they can ask for maybe support from government. But for the service providers to say that government owes them, I think that is this thing, because we haven't signed any agreement with anybody.
Right.
And you can imagine, even somebody goes to sign an agreement and then he brings a bill for you to pay. That is. So I think that this issue of who government owes and all these things, we need to take time and clarify them properly.
Well, very fortunately, we have the executive director of the Environmental Service Providers Association. She's still online. Ama Entry, if you heard he's in charge of the waste management at the local government ministry. He seemed to suggest that what you claim as government owing you is not exactly accurate, that the debts are owed you by the assemblies.
I would want to find out from him under which sector do the assemblies operate, and supposing there should be an outbreak of disease today, who is going to be responsible?
But you know what he said? It makes sense, because the government, as a local government ministry, has not signed any agreement with your service providers. The agreements were signed between your service providers and the assembly. So if the assembly owe you...
Okay, let me just explain to you.
Sure.
The assemblies themselves have written to the local government minister categorically emphasizing that they have been unable to pay, and there's a need for the ministry to support them to pay this debt.
All right.
And the assemblies work directly under this ministry, and the local government ministry has done this in the past, and this is nothing new to the ministry. And we are pleading again with the local government minister to intervene. If there should be an outbreak of disease today, who is going to be responsible? Is it going to be the assemblies or the government? And it is rather unfortunate the response we got from the local government minister. Apart from that, with the Accra compost plant, what was the agreement? Was it not between the local government and then the contractor? It was a PPP, public-private partnership. So who owns the Accra compost plant? In any case, I clumped the three together. So the Ministry of Local Government cannot come out to say that they do not owe some of our contractors.
Right.
I refer to my members as contractors, but there are different categories of contractors. We have the landfill operators, and in this case, I'm referring to the landfill. Even if they are denying that of the Accra the landfill, the Kpone and Kumasi, what about the Accra compost plant? And if the media has been diligent in its work, not too long ago, I heard the minister admitting they have received invoices and some amount has been approved. And they are working diligently to get a Ministry of Finance to pay the Accra compost plant. So I'm surprised at all the feedback I'm getting now. And in any case, the assemblies work directly under the local government.
Right, Madam Entry.
Assemblies are not able to fulfill their mandate.
Madam Entry,
who takes up their responsibility?
I want you to give Nadem a chance to react quickly so that we can wrap up the conversation between the two of you. Now, you wanted to react.
I think it's very interesting. I don't dispute the fact that government needs support. Definitely, if there's an epidemic, I am a public health specialist, and I know that what the consequences of this situation can be. But I beg to differ that when they say government owes them, I think that he made the right statement when he said he was pleading with government to support, in doing it. So I think that the issue must be very clear. That the assemblies owe them, but they are unable, because of some challenges, they are unable to meet that. And then we look at it. Just 1 minute. The waste that is produced does not come from the moon. The waste is produced in our municipality.
Yeah, I know, but that does not begin to solve the problem on our hand. I mean, waste is generated, all right, but it is the responsibility of those we have put in place to govern us to manage the waste, which we pay to dispose, actually.
Definitely. So the payment that is made for the disposal of the waste, where does it go? That is the question. You pay for the disposal of your waste. Where does that money go? And bills are brought to the ministry for payment.
Right. Thanks very much, Nadem and Ama Entry. I'm afraid that's where time will allow us. We're grateful that you could make time with us on today's big story. We're trying to get Stephen Amoining-Youngson, who is a sanitation engineer and waste management consultant, to speak to us really about the capacity at Kpone and what is the most effective and scientific way that we can deal with Accra's waste. When we get him, we'll bring him on. So, Michaela, let me wrap up with you. I know that you have to go quickly to Joy FM, but you went there, you saw the problem. Do you feel that the authorities that have the mandate to resolve Accra's waste problem, does it look like they're working on the ground?
Well, I don't know what to say, but I think they must be up and doing.
A lot more needs to be done.
Yeah,
we want to see a lot more action from them.
Of course, and government, if really government is owing these people, they would have to pay them, because they are saying that without their intervention, the place might shut down.
Yes.
And the Accra compost plant is saying that they've given government ultimatum that if government doesn't pay by Monday is just some few days away, they are going to shut down. So what is going to happen to all of us? How are we going to manage the waste in our homes? And the garbage, are they going to continue to sit in front of our homes, in our homes? The health implications. So everybody, whether it's the government, whether it's the waste contractors, those who collect, everybody must do something. And we are journalists, we are reporting that when we expect them to do something to solve the situation before there is we have a crisis. We have a crisis
on our hand. Now, I know Kpone. I've been there before. I worked in the Tema area some time ago. So I know Kpone pretty well. And where the dump site is located, there are people living around. Did you get to speak to some of them to tell you the inconvenience they go through on a daily basis with the stench you spoke about? Well,
I spoke to some of them. They were walking freely. I think they're used to the air, but I couldn't stand it. I spoke to Ama Entry, the one you just spoke to, interviewed. At a point, we couldn't do the interview there again, so we had to move. Because the stench there, Stephen, it's amazing.
And I'm sure that it's not like you haven't seen refuse before, but this is amazing. And the other problem of the breakdown of equipment and the trucks coming in, I'm told that the situation didn't used to be that challenging until the equipment broke down and trucks had to begin to pile up. So maybe one truck has to stay for a day or two before it's offloaded. Did you get the impression from the truck drivers that they are giving up, more like giving up? They don't know what to do? Well,
they are saying that AMA has to construct 3 intermediary dump sites. That's what they're saying. They said 3 intermediary dump sites in Accra, so that they will first dump the waste there, then they will get big trucks to take it to their final disposal site. That will be Kpone. And they are saying that they'll be glad if they operate the dump site on a 24/7 basis.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've been trying to get onto the telephone line to get Stephen Amoining Youngson, who is a sanitary engineer and waste management consultant, to talk to us about the most effective ways of dealing with some of these ways. We're still trying very hard to raise them on the telephone line, and we'll be bringing you updates. So if you've just joined us, this is today's big story, and we're tackling the issue of Accra's sanitation waste management, which seems to be engulfing us. We've had concerns from the environmental service providers who say government owe them. Government says it doesn't owe them, and it just comes back to the same point where it looks like the assemblies owe the different operators of the waste management companies. Well, we're hoping that we won't wake up one morning and then the dump sites are shut. That would be a crisis. So, Michaela Anderson, we're grateful that you could make time with us, and we're grateful for Ama Aimchi and Na Deme Deme from the Ministry of Local Government who joined us. We'll be right back. My name is Stephen, and we'll be right back with the interactive segment. Stay with us.